Well, folks, it's another crappy day outside. It's about -4 here in the Midwest. We get a lot of that kind of stuff in the wintertime. And I've got my nappy carving jacket on, all set to go. And today we're going to carve an ornament. This is what I call a pencil ornament. And we're going to carve one of these. So let's do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to carve out one of these pencil ornaments. You know, that looks like that. And this is 3/4 inch kiln dried basswood, 6 inches wide is how I get it. And then I cut it down into 3/4 inch or 1 inch wide pieces. And obviously, you know, the grain, you can see the ends right here. So we're going to carve with that. So the first thing you want to do is, this is my number 7 Pfeil, Pfeil. This is a 25 millimeter gouge. In the description you can see a link there for a number 7 22 millimeter gouge, but that's what it looks like on the end. So on this, again on this bench, I'll show you guys. You know, this is a Stanley Workmate, and I put a 2x4 in here. It's got a piece of wood in here, and underneath it I've kind of set it up so that I can put this in there and I can clamp it down. Works out really good. So I carve against that, and that's what we're going to do right here. So on this, now one of these ends as we're carving here is going to be the balls, so you want to make sure that you leave enough for that. And the bottom end, you know, we can taper down. So we'll just keep going along. Let the chips keep flying. You're kind of just looking to get a torpedo shape. Really is what you're doing. Taking off the pieces that we don't want, making sure this thing is round at the same time. A little bit on that side. Kind of work a little bit further down. No particular science to it. You don't have to be pretty at this stage. We're just roughing out. Flip it around. Garbage can's never where I want it. So we're going to flip it around and just do the same thing. This is the beard side. Okay, so we're doing some justice on this. I've got that carved down, just hitting the high spots that I see. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So for this end, this is the bearded end. What I'm going to do is hold it right here, just round that off. Just like that. Even that up a little bit. This little bench kind of talks to me every time I take a little bit of piece of wood off of carving. Alright, so that's good. So now we're just going to draw the end. Just do like that. And, you know, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can do it larger, smaller. And keep in mind, you know, we want that the hat to come next. So I'm just going to pick whichever side I want to be the face. That looks pretty good. going to carve that out right after we draw it in. Kind of make it go down on the edge here. Swoop it down. That's the back. And bring it right up. Just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so the next gouge that I'm going to use is this V gouge right here. And again, this is I'll have to dig up the details on exactly what the angle is on it. Just about any V gouge would work, though. I think this looks to me like it's about a 60-degree V gouge. Number 12, Pfeil. This is the palm series that they have. So again, on this, I'm using that stop that's built in here. And I'm just going to part it out. Just going to part this out. And you just want to keep at it. You can hear my bench. I think I need to oil the bench. Every time I do a little carve, it kind of creaks at me. And then you're going to do the brim, is the next part that we want to do. And again, I'm using that little stop that's right there, that piece of wood. And again, this doesn't have to be perfectly fancy. It can be a little rough at this stage. But the thing about it is, you'll notice that I'm keeping this knife in the whole process kind of moving away from me. By using that stop. You know, I've got those Kevlar gloves and all that kind of stuff, but I've just never had to use them when I carve like this. And I don't like wearing the gloves. You know, I don't know. So, as fidgety as it might seem, this is the way I do it. And just hold it any which way you can to get that piece carved. All right, not bad. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to grab is this. And this is in the kit too. It's in the description. And that is what that looks like. So in this, I'm just going to carve like that. Lots of stop cuts. Flip it this way. Get a good hold on it and just kind of come in at an angle like that. These little ornaments, you know, they good way to pass the time, and you can get about 20 bucks a piece painted up. It's almost mindless, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of time on them. We'll get the top of that here in just a little bit, but for now I'm going to take this brim back that way. Just little chip and turn it. Little chip, turn it like that. Kind of build up some muscles you never knew you had when you carve like this. Because it's not just the strength, it's the ability to stop that knife when you want to. Just part of the battle. Strength under control. Bunch of little stop cuts. Take these pieces out. Like that. You can clean this up just like that. We'll do a little more of that. All right. Well, he's starting to get there. Little by little. So now we're going to do the same sort of process. Underneath the brim of the hat. Sometimes you get a piece that wants to run. If it does that to you, you can always just come back the other way. And just kind of cleaning that up a little bit. Stop cut. Kind of hold it with my thumb and roll the blade like that. Not a lot of pressure. Get it like that. Okay, good. I see a little piece here. This is kind of sticking up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so just divide it in half like this. That's going to be the eyes. Here's the nose. Like that. Then for the beard, you just go swoop down a little bit, bring it up on that half right there. Try to get it even with the other part. And like that. And I'm looking for the next gouge that I want to use. I believe that's a 70 degree. It's in that kit that's in the description. This is a Flexcut V Gouge, about a 70 degree. So on this, again, I'm using that little stop right here, and I'm just going to go right underneath that line for the eyelid, and I'm going to stop right at the nose, just like that. Bring that piece up, go back, like that. Flip it around underneath the eyebrow, right up to the nose. Wiggle, wiggle. Get that knife in there. Do like that. And I'm going to do underneath the nose, following that line again. Like that. Clean that up a little bit. And follow that line right up the edge. Like that. Then I'm just going to use the flat knife right here. There's two ways you could do this. You could either use this chisel, which is in that kit in the description. You can just drop that in there like that. You can also use it to kind of redefine that side of the nose. See, it's just a stop cut. Just like that. This piece I'm going to flip on the side. Underneath the eye line. Pick another little piece out against that stop cut. Pretty much just following that pencil line that I put in there for the nose and the eye. I'm going to get the side of the face. Same thing over here. And if you have to flip it around a few times, 1,000 times, that's what you do. So now I'm going to get the nose tip a little bit higher. I'm just going to take a little bit, make a stop cut here. Just above the eyebrow. Yeah, we're just following the cuts that we made before. I'm going to take this a little deeper right there. Like that. Go back to this underneath that line we did for the eye. Basically another stop cut. Okay. I'm going to do a little stop cut under the nose. I'm going to come up there and just take a little bit off like that. And now I'm going to just shape it a little bit on the side of the eye. Like that. Okay, now we're going to do the side of the nose. So this, you just have to be careful not to go too far. So I'm just going to make a little notch, right? Not a ton of pressure here. You don't want to blow right through it. Same thing here. You don't want a ton of pressure on it. So I'm just going to curve and flow up. Carefully just take some of that out. Need to go a little deeper. And same thing over there. A little stop cut. Shape the cheek up a little bit. Flatten that out. That's looking decent. So the eyes actually look pretty good there. If I want one eye kind of looking up, you can just go like this. Take that gouge in there like that. And so when we paint his eyebrow, we'll make that go up a little bit, like he's looking up. Little bit. And just kind of shape up around the brim a little bit. No right or wrong way, just kind of making it look kind of nice. Get real handy with this. This I use a lot, it's very handy. This little knife. And you know, you're just looking at it to see the overall shape. And where I've got the light up here, it shows shadows too, so I can see some of the points that I want to bring down a little bit. I'm just going to use this 70 degree just very lightly. Okay, now for the lower part, the mustache, we're going to draw that in again. About like that. And on this you could use the heavy gouge or the little 70 degree, it doesn't really matter. And just follow that line. Follow that line. Same thing over here. Like that. And you can use this little tool just to follow that, make a stop cut like that, roll it around, follow that bit that you just did, and now I'll set him down and grab the wider bit, chisel. Going like that. And just with a light touch, kind of cleaning it up in there. You don't have to put a lot of pressure. You'll get the hang of it. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. You'll see little things where you want to clean up. Just jump in and do it. Okay. So right here, I want to kind of bring that down a little bit. Right now I'm just evening it up. Any place I see a little high spot. Good. It's not so bad. Okay. So now we want that beard in here. And usually what I do is just take the pencil and swoop in and curve it. Swoop in. Another one come in there like that. Just like that. Take that bigger gouge, flip that ornament around, and again, just you don't have to do it all in one swoop. But the good thing about this is, like I said, you're keeping this knife moving away. You're going to chew up this, you know, this deal here, but that's much better than chewing up your fingers. Just follow that line. Roll it as you go. And it's kind of like that. Not so bad. So now you're going to take this, and we want to get this, we're just going to take off this little bit. You want to give this beard a little, kind of like a whippy dip, you know, like a little soft serve. So we just want to carefully take that edge off right there. You can tell when the wood's going to split, so you just flip it. And if it feels like it's going to split, you just flip it around. And same thing. So we took down that edge. We'll do the same thing here. Take that edge down. Yeah, kind of like that. Same thing over here. We're going to take this little edge down right there. And you can always redefine that a little bit. Give it a nice little swirl at the end. Like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now for the back of the head, I usually just take this and just kind of work it in there like that. Not so bad. So I think I'll give this one a little bit more detail. I'm going to put another little line right along in here, and I'll show you. Just going to follow the middle of what we just carved. Optional, you don't have to do this, but that's what makes them look a little different. Do the same thing here. You know, these things just make you focus on what you're doing, so you don't care that it's 5 degrees below zero outside. The sidewalks are waiting to get the snow off of them. Nope, doesn't seem to matter when you're doing this. Hope nobody falls down out there. Well, let's see. So that's not looking too bad, actually. And as you look at it in that light, you might say, there's a little bit. Got it. So now we need to give this beard a little bit of texture. Easy stuff. You're just going to go like that. You don't even have to draw it in, but I will just to show you. Right? Light touch. Just going down. Like that. Same thing over here. About like that. You know, as I said, you'll see things you want to clean up. Now the nose here, you might want to give that, you might want to leave it, or you might want to just take your chisel and just take the ends off of it, give it a little more realism like a nose. Not so bad. Let's get the tip of this real quick. Angle it down so you get the tip of it. Like that. And then just look at it, make sure it's even. Check it out for size. I'll get this one. Just take this little edge off. Make it a little more round. making it look like a ball, basically, is all we're doing. So now it's just clean up. You look at it, it looks a little high. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that off. Yeah, just kind of work it along. You can also flatten out the brim a little bit if you want. Just take that edge off, just like that. Oops. Not so bad. Just looking at it, cleaning it up. All right. Making sure he looks good. See something you don't like? No problem. Keep playing around with it until you like it. Now, a lot of people think it's a terrible thing, but I actually sand. God forbid. Some people say, you can't do that. Yes, I can. I carved it. I can sand it. So I just take, this is 220 grit. Just go like that. I mean, I'm not really rubbing it down to nothing. I'm just taking off some of the high spots. I usually run that fan, which is what is over here, to grab some of this, but just clean it up like that. Okay, so here's what they look like when they're all done. I use kind of like a metallic green on those. There's one that's got kind of like a metallic red, but you get the idea. You can get these little eye hooks right on the end there. You can probably get those, Michaels, I believe, has got them. Hobby Lobby's got them. These little 5mm eye hooks. And basically, I take a pair of pliers and I hold the end of the eye hook like this, and I just twist the ornament right in. Makes it easy. Here's a variation. Maybe I'll do a video on how to carve one of these little guys. But that's it. That's it. Get 20 bucks a piece on those, and friends and family love them. If you happen to go to the craft fairs, they'll love these as well. Nothing to it. Just have to make 500 or so. So thanks for tuning in, folks, and that is how you make the little ornaments.